It's a fine day to be hiking in the Berkshires of western Massachusetts.
It is, Ray, for sure. We're in the bucolic town of Tyringham, looking for the ruins of a unique and cursed haunt.
Oh, haunted and cursed.
That's what they say.
We love curses and haunts.
It's 2 for 1 today.
We're walking along an old road that's mostly overgrown now.
Yeah.
I could see some old stonework between the grass and the weeds.
And there's our destination just up ahead.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is spooky. I see 4 stone pillars along a wall. Looks like it used to be the front of a mansion, but the mansion is obviously gone now.
Yeah, all long gone now, and it's been gone for over half a century. But this was once a huge estate called Ashintully, and its centerpiece was a marble palace mansion built by Robb Tytus and his wife Grace. They fell in love with the Berkshires back on their honeymoon, so they built their mansion here long ago. Though there were good times here, there were also a string of tragedies, and they said the house was haunted. They say the Tytus family was under the spell of an ancient Egyptian curse. Hey, I'm Jeff Belanger. Welcome to episode 404 of the New England Legends podcast.
And I'm Ray Auger. Thank you for joining us on our mission to chronicle every legend in New England, one story at a time. So many of our story leads come from you, so please reach out to us anytime through our website with your tales of ghosts, monsters, UFOs, roadside oddities, and anything else that bumps in the night. Our website is also the place where you can find dates for Jeff's story tour and see my band, the Pub Kings.
We'll explore these haunted and cursed ruins in Tyringham, Massachusetts, right after this word from our sponsor.
As we hiked in here, we saw a path that led through an old stone wall. Looked like it used to be a gate to a property. The trail winds up to the top of the hill. The mansion used to have quite the view of the rolling hills of the Berkshire Mountains.
It's a stunning view up here, and these 4 stone pillars stick out like some ancient Greek ruins.
Tyringham is located just a bit southeast of Lenox, Massachusetts, and a little east of Stockbridge. Tyringham was incorporated in 1762. It was mainly sheep farms in those early years. Today, the town boasts a population of, get this, 427 people according to the last census.
So, small town.
Yes, a very small town, and quiet. A lot of woods, just the way people like it around here. The Appalachian Trail runs through Tyringham as well.
If you're going to live here, you have to love the woods. Fortunately, Robb Tytus and his wife Grace did.
Now, here's a little more background on Tytus. He was born in North Carolina in 1876. He came from a wealthy family and was afforded all the finest things. He attended St. Mark's School in Southborough, Massachusetts, then studied at Yale University. He had a passion for archaeology and illustration. He fancied himself as an explorer. In 1899, Tytus traveled all the way to Egypt, where he joined archaeologists Percy Newberry and Howard Carter in excavating tombs in Luxor. It was during these excavations that he helped uncover the palace of King Amenhotep III, who was the grandfather of King Tut.
King Tut is arguably the most famous of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs, but wasn't even close to the most influential or important. He only ruled for 9 years. And they called him the Boy King because he died in the year 1323 BC at the age of 18 or 19, so he was a child for most of his reign. He's the most famous today because his tomb was never raided or looted. In 1922, it was rediscovered and was intact. It was full of treasure, artwork, hieroglyphs, and of course, a sarcophagus with King Tutankhamun's body inside. And one more thing.
What's that?
Well, they say a curse was also waiting for those who dared to disturb the tombs and palaces of the pharaohs.
I've heard some of those stories.
Well, we're going to dive into the specifics of this one. Let's head back to the year 1911 and see Ashintully.
It's July of 1911 here in Tyringham, Massachusetts. Construction on a palace in the hills has been ongoing for the past year now. It's coming together.
It is coming together. Robb Tytus married his wife Grace in New York City back in 1903. The couple honeymooned in the Berkshires and fell in love with the region. Back in 1903, Tytus also published a book related to the work on excavating and studying King Amenhotep III's palace. Tytus was already wealthy, but now he's becoming renowned as a scholar on Egyptian mummies, a topic the world can't seem to get enough of these days.
That's true. The world has had Egypt fever for the past couple of decades as more discoveries from that part of the world continue to make headlines. Seems to be some commotion over by the barn on the property. Let's go check it out.
Some men were working to clear out the barn this morning, and something has them spooked.
Yeah, they're rattled. One of them is running to fetch the sheriff.
Ray, look! There's a body over there in the corner of the barn.
Oh my God, I see that. There's a drape over the body. I don't think we should touch it.
Yeah.
We don't need our fingerprints on the scene before the sheriff gets here.
Yeah, good point. Okay, the sheriff's looking at the body in the corner. He wastes no time calling for the medical examiner, Dr. Wilcox from the town of Lee.
So I guess we wait for Dr. Wilcox. After Dr. Wilcox examines the body in the barn, he's unable to determine if there was any foul play. But he does make one startling announcement. He tells the men gathered that this corpse is many hundreds, if not thousands of years old.
3,000 years old to be precise, at least according to Robb Tytus. The corpse in question is an Egyptian mummy that will be displayed inside the new mansion once it's finished.
Right, because nothing says home sweet home like a dead body on display.
Rich people are different than us, right?
That's true. It's 1912 when construction of the mansion is completed. Tytus names this grand home Ashintully, a Gaelic word that means on the brow of the hill. But Tyringham locals call it the Marble Palace.
And really both terms fit the description. This Georgian mansion looks like a stately building that would fit right in downtown Washington, D.C., next to the White House or any number of other white marble buildings. It's got 35 rooms, 15 fireplaces, and a library filled with thousands of books.
In addition to moving in the Egyptian mummy, Tytus also places art pieces from all over the world in the mansion. This place truly is a palace.
Meanwhile, Tytus has ingrained himself into the Berkshires. He's been active in the community and in politics. He was elected twice to the state legislature as a representative, also served on the Tyringham School Committee and on the Library Board of Trustees.
A pillar of the community.
And rich and famous.
Sadly, Robb Tytus doesn't get to enjoy his new mansion in the Berkshires for very long. It's August of 1913 when Tytus succumbs to tuberculosis. He was 37 years old. He's buried just up the hill from his mansion in the family plot.
Though tuberculosis is the official cause of death, and we should point out there's plenty of that going around, there are still some who suggest he died because of a curse unleashed while he was opening tombs and temples back in Egypt.
Some folks will be superstitious, I guess. But, as you said, tuberculosis has been a leading killer in the country for over a century.
It's 1915, and Grace Tytus is getting married again, this time to John Stuart McLennan, a Canadian senator and newspaperman. The two have a child together that same year, but they get divorced a short while later.
Still, summers come and go in the Berkshires. Notable guests arrive for parties and even stay for a few weeks. Considering the death of Robb Tytus and all of the old antiques and creepy stuff inside this mansion, it's no wonder the place starts to get a haunted reputation. One of those notable house guests is author and historian Henry Adams. Adams is the great-grandson of President John Adams. The historian had a strange encounter in the bedroom where he was staying.
I was startled one night to be awakened by someone speaking my name. Of a sudden, the painting which was on the wall at the foot of the bed glowed with life and, for a few minutes, conversed with me. Then, as I gradually dozed off to sleep, the magic picture also remained silent. This occurred frequently during my summer stay at Ashintully.
The painting in question had been smuggled from Rome. Why it chose to talk to Adams all summer is unknown.
It's now the summer, 1928. Grace is playing tennis when she slipped and fell. Now, what seemed like a minor accident soon led to a heart attack and then a series of seizures. Grace passes on August 28th. She was only 51.
Bad luck, a mishap, or a continuation of the Egyptian curse on the family?
Tough to know. They say when pallbearers tried to bring her casket up the hill to be buried next to her first husband, they struggled the whole journey for some mysterious reason.
It's definitely strange.
It's October of 1933. The eldest Tytus daughter, Mildred, is driving her car through Springfield, Massachusetts on her way back to Ashintully when her car swerves off the road. She hits two trees which launched her from the car and then passed away a few days later. She was only 29 years old.
Now that's 3 Tytus family members gone too soon. Suddenly, we're giving even more attention to the Egyptian curse.
Curses, bad luck, sometimes there isn't much of a difference. And that brings us back to today.
The final tragedy here at the estate occurred in 1952. The estate had been in the McLennan family since Grace willed it to her son. In the spring of 52, someone was burning trash in the incinerator when winds carried some embers to the milk barn and caught the structure on fire. Soon the nearby fields also caught on fire. Volunteer firefighters rushed to the scene to try to contain the blaze, but after hours of fighting the blaze, the fire jumped to the house, and soon the entire building was engulfed. Water was running low, and there was little they could do but watch as the mansion burned down to a skeleton. Hundreds of acres of forest also burned.
Back in 1977, 446 acres, including the ruins of Ashintully, were donated to create a reservation that still maintains the property, the gardens, and the trails today.
Ashintully today is an eerie set of ruins overlooking an incredible view of the Berkshires. You can see the foundations, some of the stone driveway and paths, and of course the 4 pillars that stuck out into the skyline.
There's an air of sadness here. And you can walk through the remains of what was clearly a playground for the rich, filled with artifacts and art, connecting us to faraway places, times, people, and stories. Today, the ruins aren't just haunted, they're haunting.
That they are. And that takes us to After the Legend, where we take a deeper dive into this week's story and sometimes go off the rails.
After the Legend is brought to you by our Patreon patrons. This group is the best. Our patrons are our insiders who get early ad-free access to new episodes. They get our entire archive of shows, plus bonus episodes and content that no one else gets to hear. It's just $3 per month, but if there's enough of you, it goes a long way in helping pay our expenses. To sign up, please head to patreon.com/New England Legends. And to see some pictures of Ashintully, both then and now, click on the link in our episode description or go to our website and click on episode 404. This is one of those places. It is open to the public. You can hike it. You can go up there. You can take your own pictures. You can see for yourself. It is a public park.
And we've heard many stories about this where you can travel to see the ruins of a mansion. What was the big one that we talked about? It had the stairway that went up on the outside.
Madame Sherry's Castle Ruins.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, too.
That's not too far, just north, in Vermont, right? So... Or is it New Hampshire? It's right on the line of, I forget which side it fell, though.
I think it's easy to not make up stories, but make up legends and rumors when there's nothing left of the structure. You know what I mean? You can't point to a window and say, sometimes you can say, when it was a mansion, you could see the remains, or you could see a ghostly figure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Now they're just stories where there's nothing there.
But the pillars, and again, go to our website, you can see the pictures. They are right out of Washington, D.C. There's 4 standing up. I mean, clearly a mansion was here. And you look around, it's beautiful rolling hills. The view must have been, especially in the fall, with the rolling hills, with all the foliage and everything else, it must have been stunning.
Yeah.
But this mansion, and again, go to our website and see the mansion. I mean, if you saw it right down the street from the White House in Washington, D.C., you'd say, well, clearly that fits. That's just looks like many other buildings around here.
Right.
So white marble, incredible. And you add the curse, and you go, bad luck seemed to sort of follow this family. But then the testimony of John Adams' great-great-grandson, or great-grandson, rather, that's weird. He was quoted in the papers.
Yeah.
I mean, those were his words. We didn't make them up, where he's just like, this picture talked to me, and then talked to me all summer. I'm like, it's not a one-time thing.
Yeah. When did they invent psychedelics? Like, when did that's really timeless, isn't it?
Well, peyote, I mean, that goes back for many.
That's true. And if you're in the woods, there's chances that you found
mushrooms.
a mushroom growing somewhere.
Let's put that on the salad. Okay. That was good. Let's put more on tonight's salad.
Yeah, the house is talking to everybody in that case.
I don't know.
It could be paranormal.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's this guy. Not only is his lineage incredible, he's a relative of a president, but he was a noted historian and author. He would write history books. He would lecture and stuff like that. He wasn't just some kook off the street. Yeah,
chances are he had common sense, and he was a scholar and somebody who was right-minded. But yeah, so it's when you hear the guy with the crazy hair running around with no shirt on saying, the picture's talking to me, talking to me. That's when it's, okay, kook. But a guy like this, you tend to trust.
Which isn't fair, because the crazy guy could have also seen a ghost, right? Or had a picture talking to him.
Right.
You just assume. But no, and this is a case too where, he had his ghost sighting when it was a fully functional, operational mansion. He was a guest there. Yeah. He was a guest there all summer. And so the house had a haunted reputation, even though, I don't know if anyone died inside. I mean, Tytus didn't die inside.
No, but there was a mummy in there.
There was a dead body in there, right?
Yeah.
So, that's, whether you believe in curses or not, I've said before, right? If you believe you're cursed, you're cursed.
Right.
And any amount of logic isn't going to undo that.
You've willed yourself to be cursed.
You're like, I'm cursed and I'm going to walk around cursed. And as you have that state of mind, I promise, bad stuff's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And you'll focus on each bad thing that happens.
Right.
I also believe it is incredibly bad form to remove a corpse from wherever it's buried and then put it in your living room.
Yeah.
Not
in your living room.
But file that under something I would never do. You know what I mean? Like, pay your respects at a place of the dead? Absolutely. Yeah. Of course. That's what it's there for. Go there. Pay your respects. If you want to take a picture, I can live with that too. Leave flowers, leave something. Totally okay.
If you had access to an Egyptian mummy, would you display it? Like if you had the chance?
We've done other stories. Remember the Vermont mummy? There was it was a child. It was like a 2-year-old mummy that it arrived so decomposed because once it was brought out of the arid, dry grounds of Egypt and put on a boat and moisture got to it, it just decomposition picked up right where it left off.
Right.
And by the time it arrived at this museum in Vermont, it looked so messy that they just put it in a box in the attic where it was forgotten about until finally someone said, this is a human being.
Yeah,
right?
you got to bury this. You can't put it in the attic.
So there is a Vermont cemetery with a headstone that says the grave of, who died 1893 BC. And so there's an ancient Egyptian mummy already buried, which that's the best they could do. I get it. I mean, ideally you send it home, but I get how impractical that was, and where would you put it anyway?
Right.
But yeah, like disturbing a place of the dead is sort of universally taboo. You're just not supposed to do it.
Oh, this always comes back to poltergeist.
Right.
Don't disturb the land.
Leave them, right? Leave them where they are. That's the respect we show to those who came before us. And this wasn't even like, okay, poltergeist, at least like, wow, progress. We need to put it in a neighborhood. At least this is nothing more than like, let's pull it out of the ground and gawk at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they put a strip mall where the tomb was.
Right.
It's still the tomb. They just took the body out. So yeah, no, I think it is, at the very least, it's bad form. And, maybe that does. But imagine going to bed I'm a guest for the next 4 weeks at this beautiful mansion. And I'm walking by the dead guy again on my way to bed.
But we go to museums to look at dead people.
Yeah, we don't sleep there.
No, that's true.
Yeah, where you're just laying in bed awake going, dead guy, just down the hall. Thousands of years old.
I think I can smell him.
They say cursed. Sure, it'll be fine.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Let's test this out. So, but when you go there, though, I love that the grounds they're beautiful. In the way that sort of like the nature is reclaiming what was always rightfully hers.
Have you already subscribed to our podcast? Please do, because it's free, and we'll send you 2 episodes each week. Pretty soon, we're going to be phasing out of From the Vault and replacing it with some personal stories of strange encounters in New England. So if you've got a story to share, please email us through our website. We love when you guys get involved.
We'd like to thank Marv Anderson for lending his voice acting talents this week. Thank you to our sponsors and, of course, our Patreon patrons. And our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember,
the bizarre is closer than you think.